So in the previous video, we have seen how to create a database, how to create a table in the database, how to create the column inside the table, and how to update the value in the table manually from MySQL Workbench from any node which is connected to the same network of the MySQL server. So now I am on the Raspberry Pi, and I have taken this Raspberry Pi from a laptop in remote mode through VNC. So the IP address of the Raspberry Pi is 192.168.100.10. Okay. So now I need to show you MySQL Workbench. So go to MySQL Workbench. Click here. Give the password. So click on MyDB. Click on Table. And this one. We created these tables for your understanding, but we are not going to use this table for our Python program. So I have created one more table. You can see this. So this is the table. In this video, we are going to write a Python program which will automatically update the data in the database. So let us consider the situation like this. Suppose there are three rooms. One is room number 305, room number 309, and something is bedroom. Okay. So for each room, there is a unique ID. There is a primary key. So this ID can't be same for two different rooms. So we will work with this bedroom, that is with ID 1. We have two sensors, one is proximity switch PS and one is heat detector. So whatever the data are available in the proximity switch, that will be put here. And the data corresponding to heat detector will be put here. So now it is 0, 0. That means the proximity sensor and heat detector, nothing is activated. So if proximity sensor is activated, then this value will be 1 and this will be 0. If both are activated, then both will be 1. Okay. So our database name is MyDB. Our table name will be MyTable, and we will update the data corresponding to ID equal to 1, and our column name will be PS and HD. So let us remember this, and let us also remember that the IP address of the server where this MySQL database is installed is 192.168.100.4. Okay, so let us start with pinging the server. So let us ping 192.168.100.4. So we are getting reply, that means server is in online. The IP address of this Raspberry Pi was 192.168.100.10. Let us ensure FIG. So okay. So now we will write the program. So go to the home folder and go to Pi. Take a new file. Call it as let us say data.py. Okay. Now you just copy this program and paste there in the data.py, and I will explain you line by line. This is the data.py. Paste here. Okay. So in this Raspberry Pi, we have connected the Arduino through USB cable. So this Raspberry Pi will take the data from this Arduino through Pi serial. So for this, we have to import the library import serial. We will also import time, because in the while loop we will run the program after each 0.1 second. That's why we have to import a library called time. Again, we have to import the library mysql.connector because we have to connect to the MySQL server from this Python file because we want to update the data to MySQL server. So now inside the while loop, that is while one, that is infinite loop, we will use try and except module. If you don't use this try and except, if there is any issue in the field with this Arduino, maybe the Arduino got power off or maybe some other problems, then this Python program will get crashed. So to avoid the crashing of this Python file, we have to use this try and except module. Remember, always this Python program has to run. If this Python program crash, the data will not get updated and everything will be meaningless. So this is your system, this is your Python program, always it has to run. So this try and except is very important. We have to ensure that this Python program will not crash. So first I have created a serial object and that has been assigned to ACR. So that means this is the serial port dev TTY SM0. We can ensure from the Arduino. Let us open this Arduino, go to tool and go to serial port. We can see this dev TTY SM0. Okay, this is the serial port. In this serial port, this Arduino is connected. That means the Arduino will put the data on the serial bus. Okay, so whatever the data will be put, that will come in SAR. Okay, so this line SAR.readLine. That means the data has been read by this Raspberry Pi. So the SAR.readLine is a string, and that string is nothing but contains the data that has been given by the Arduino to the serial bus. But we don't need to use these two lines actually. So let us delete these two, right? So this SAR.readLine is a string. We have to decode this string and we have to split. Actually, if you write this thing, then you will get a data. The data is the data from the serial bus. But now data is a two-dimensional array. So this data 0 is the actual data which contains either 0, 0 or 0, 1 or on or on 0. Okay. So the data 0 gives us the information of the sensor status in the field. So data 0, 0 will be the first character and data 0, 1 will be the second character. So already we have seen that the data is available in the Arduino. Let us check from here. If we go to serial and go to serial monitor, you can see the data is coming in the Arduino. Now our goal is to see the data in the Python program also. Okay, then this 0 corresponds to the first sensor, that is the proximity switch, and the second 0 is for the heat detector. Similarly, we have written in the Python program also. So this data 0, 0 will be the first character that will come from the proximity switch, and data 0, 1 will come from the heat detector. So we have used this typecasting to ensure that this X is now the string. Okay, now sometime it happens that there is some problem which is created by this Arduino. It may give some unnecessary value other than on and 0. So that data should not be accepted. That is wrong data. Okay, so to ensure that the data is correct, we have checked the length of the data. So length of the data should be 2 and it should contain only either 1 and 0. If it is satisfied, then I have to connect this Raspberry Pi to the MySQL server to update the data. So that's why I have written this MySQL connector.connect. And what is the username of this MySQL server? That was root, and the password was 123456. And the MySQL server is located at this IP address, and the database was MyDB. Okay. So now my cursor con.cursor means whatever the command will execute, that will be done by this my cursor. Just printed the data, whatever data is coming from the serial bus, to ensure that we have written print data 0. I have already told that data 0 contains the value of proximity switch and heat detector, because data is this data. This data is two-dimensional array, and data 0 is a one-dimensional array. Okay. This execution, this is the SQL query. That query will get executed remotely from this Raspberry Pi to this MySQL server. So update myTable. MyTable is our table name. Set proximity switch, that is PS, is equal to percentage and HD equal to percentage, where ID is equal to 1. I've already told that we will use only for the bedroom where the ID was 1. And this PS will be this data 00, and this HD will be this data 0. And that means whatever the value of data 00 is right now, that will be updated to this PS column, and the value of data 01, that is the value of heat detector, will be updated to this HD column. Okay, then commit, we have to commit this execution. Then we have to close this connection. We have to close this my cursor. So just we are closing this connection from MySQL. So if this is happening, if everything happens, then we will print something called data updated in the server. Okay, and this loop will get executed after each 0.01 second. If there is some issue, for example, the Arduino is switched off, or Arduino is unable to give the data to the serial bus, or there is some problem with this Raspberry Pi so that the Raspberry Pi can't get the data from the serial bus, or maybe there is some problem with this database server, maybe the connection loss from database server. If something happens, then the program should not crash, but we'll get an error on this screen, on the terminal. Okay, so I hope you have understood this program. Now we have to run this program. Okay, so this line will not get executed because we have put on hash before this line. Okay, so just save this program, data.py. Now we will go to the terminal and we have to run this program. So please write python data.py. That's it. So this program is running. Okay, this program is running. Now you can see for this line, print data 0, we are getting this 00 after each 0.01 second, and everything is working fine. That's why we are getting that the data updated in the server. So we are getting this line, data updated in the server. Okay, now let us see whether it is working or not. So what I do now, I will activate the proximity switch now from the field, from the Arduino. So I have activated the proximity switch from this Arduino. So now I am getting the value 10. You can see I am getting the value 10. Now I have to ensure that whether this data got updated in the database or not. So to check that, open the terminal. And write MySQL -h, the IP address of the database server, -u, root is the username, -p, and give the database name. That was MyDB. Press enter. It will ask the password. Enter the password 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay. So now you can see from here, write select star from my table. And then enter. So that's it. You can see in ID number 1 the value is 10. What is the value now? In this Python program it is 10. Okay. So now let us do one thing. Let us now deactivate this proximity switch and activate the heat detector. So yeah, I have activated the heat detector, this Arduino. So what is the value in this Python program now? I can see the Python program, the value has changed and it is 0, 1. But in the database, whether the change is there? Yeah, it is 0, 1. So the same thing has been updated in the database also. Let us activate both the sensor. Both values are on. And in the database, yeah, both are on. So one thing is you can see the value from the MySQL Workbench also, but opening MySQL Workbench and closing that takes some time. That's why it's better to use the terminal always. Now I have deactivated both the sensors. So the value is 0, 0. So similarly in the database, both should be 0, 0. Yeah. So both are 0, 0. So we have seen that if anything happens in the field, then the Arduino will detect that and the data will come in the database by the program written in the Raspberry Pi. So now we have to write a program in the client machine, and the job of the program will be to read the data from this database server, and if any value changes, then that will generate some sound. That will be our program. So thank you for watching.